Good evening, good afternoon, or good morning to all of you, and welcome to another day of Sacred Pause meditation. This lockdown is challenging for many people, and I just hope that you're all finding your own way of staying afloat, albeit a chocolate biscuit or cooking your favourite dinner or watching your favourite film or listening to your favourite music. So from a very sunny, a very hot Geneva, wherever you are in the world, I send you a hug. And one of my very best friends, Tony, has been a diamond and an absolute rock for me during this time. And we've spoken most days on the phone through this time, or we've texted each other. And one of the things that Tony suggested many years ago when I was challenged with certain things was a huggle, Huggle. So in the grand style of things, I would really appreciate it now if you can put your left hand on your right shoulder and your right hand on your left shoulder and give yourself a really big huggle, whether you live alone or live with someone else. A huggle does wonders for your immune system, for your laughter system. And I'm sending you all a hug and a huggle from me to you right now. So, in the usual way, back to the Sacred Pause meditation. Just open sacred space. Some of you may have already put a candle on or some incense, or maybe you use sage or Palo Santo. Maybe you've invited in your guides and your power animals. Maybe you've got a favourite crystal in hand, and maybe you just sat quietly in a room that is divine to you, is very precious to you. And even if you sat on your own bed, it's the power of the intention. You can have sacred space in the bath. You can have sacred space in the shower or in the garden, in a hammock, in your favourite chair. You can put sacred love anywhere in your house. And what I'd like you to do is put yourself in a sacred bubble of love for this meditation. If you want, you can huggle yourself all the way through. If you want, you can imagine that I'm hugging you all the way through the meditation. And if you're not a hugging person, that's okay. We're all different. There's no rights or wrongs. It's your meditation. It's all about you. So just make yourself comfortable. And just take your attention to your breath. Close your eyes. Just be aware of any stress in your body. And just do a tour of your body from head to toe, or from the toes all the way up to the top of your head. And just breathe in that sacred energy. And just allow yourself to be you, wherever you are in the world. Allow yourself to feel and be present in your sacred space. And of course, as we sink into ourselves, into our bodies, into our mind, into our soul, we become more present in meditation, which is the gift, the present of meditation. And just know that you are perfectly safe and secure in this space. And I just want you to think about the darkness of the soul. Many people through the COVID have been really challenged with the darkness of the soul. Even people who usually carry so much light have found it a challenge in these times. I want you to be aware of how you feel right now. I'm sure at some point you felt vulnerable. You felt afraid. You felt insecure or scared. And I wonder how the butterfly felt when it was a caterpillar and it suddenly became quiet and was suddenly surrounded by a cocoon, maybe in the darkness. I'm sure it had strange sensations as it began to change from the shape of the caterpillar, developing beautiful wings and colour and the ability to fly. Everything we experience is love or fear. And just imagine if you could send love to that butterfly, send love to the caterpillar in the metamorphic state. Imagine if you knew that the universe was with you, that the universe had your back regardless of change. Imagine if you had more trust in your life. And in that sacred bubble that you're in, let's put some trust in there. Let's imagine you've got a toolkit or a picnic basket or maybe a rucksack. And you can visualize trust in whatever way, shape or form you wish. Just like a carpenter has tools in his toolbox. A jigsaw, a hammer, a pencil, a tape, a ruler, a drill. All of the tools, a spanner, a screwdriver, some screws, some nails and whatever else you can think of. Somebody who's baking a cake needs eggs and flour and a rolling pin. So just think of all those things that you might need in your toolbox. Love, patience, hope, and trust. And just think of those times when you've maybe nurtured your children or a nephew or a niece or a next door neighbour's child or maybe a grandchild. And just for a moment imagine how they have loved to receive your nurturing. Maybe you've taught them to learn to ride a bike or fix a bike or service a car, bake a cake, make the bed. Maybe you've been a teacher teaching children how to write and read. Maybe you've taught someone to fish or to swim or a million other things. But we all know the truth that when we are nurtured, encouraged, and supported, it really does make life so much easier. So I want you to imagine that you could rewind your life to those dark days, those dark moments where you didn't feel supported, Whether you are a child, an adult, a teenager, maybe all of those things. But imagine that another version of you, the older, wiser, maybe current version of you, was there to help. Maybe many of you are aware of your spirit guides and power animals. Maybe you have someone who's passed away that you favoured, like a grandparent or a favourite aunt or a favourite uncle. But often when we become aware of the spiritual world, we become aware of all the support that's always been around us. And our soul is there to help us to remember what we already know. And if you feel that in your sacred space, all of a sudden you can feel beings around you. Maybe you can feel that someone's placing a sacred cloak around your shoulders. Maybe you feel that you're receiving sacred sprinkles of love and loving kindness, of patience, endurance, courage, determination, hope, faith and trust, and maybe so much more. Many of you have expressed how much you feel supported in this group. And I assure you that knowing Peter on a personal level, he's a really heart-centered, genuine guy. He trusts in his spirit guides, and he trusts in his intuition. And imagine if all the world learned to trust in themselves, in their intuition, in their hearts. And maybe, just maybe, you can visualize your connection, just like the carriages on a train, being connected or reconnected so that you can feel the support. Just like pieces in a beautiful jigsaw. Just like an electric wiring system where one connector can connect to another and another and another and feel that connection. You've always been connected. Sometimes we just need to remember what we already know on a soul-to-soul level. Our ancestors are with us all the time. We have immense power and support from the spirit kingdom. So let's rewind our lives in this quiet space and imagine that we had known that all the support was with us right from the beginning. Imagine how different life would have been. And yet it also might be worth taking those learnings. We only become the people we are through challenge often. So I'm going to leave you in that space now, knowing that you are fully supported by the love that I am transmitting through this meditation. Knowing that my guides, your guides, no doubt Peter's guides, are with you holding sacred space. At any point, you can give yourself a huggle. And I'm going to leave you in that sacred, blissful place of loving kindness and support for a few moments before I close the meditation. Enjoy this sacred space, because surely that is what it is. So give yourself a huggle and give yourself permission to receive the loving kindness and the support that is around you. The dark night of the soul is inevitable between any stages of changes in our lives. But how often do we think that a situation is dire, and yet when we come the other side, we can see that it's just merely a transition. It's merely a learning on a soul-to-soul level, albeit death, change, redundancy, transition, moving house, so many things that put our backs against a wall, relationship breakdowns, family upsets. There can be so many things that put us in the dark night of the soul. But when we learn to live with love, when we learn to be in the present moment, when we learn wisdom and acceptance of all things, and when we learn perhaps one of the most powerful lessons of all, that this too will pass. My love, sacred blessings, and fondest wishes to all of you. In your own time, give thanks to those who have helped you in the esoteric kingdom, and the parts of yourself that maybe you've forgotten to say thank you to. My blessings go with you from this day forward. And thank you to my dear friend Tony for the joy of a huggle. Namaste. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.